Hey team, a very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. EURUSD has started to push in towards the downside after we grabbed liquidity above the overall high on the 12-hour time frame, which we were looking to target. This is the high of around 1.16.7 and the final overall high of the overall, let's say, downtrend which we've had here in towards the downside. We take out that high and since then we've been dropping back in towards the lows. So what am I expecting for now from EURUSD? I'm expecting more downside as long as the overall high here of 1.17400 is respected. This for me currently is the overall strong high, and the overall downtrend here on the 12-hour/4-hour time frame still remains intact. We've taken out the final bumps in the road, all of the trendline liquidity. So yes, it now makes sense for EURUSD to start selling off in towards the downside. Now, Fabio, when is the highest probability trade going to come into effect? That is when we see an overall order flow shift, because at the current moment in time, the overall order flow still remains bullish in towards the highs. This is currently still your demand zone that is in control, and as you can see, we have this little internal uptrend which has been holding and which has been pushing the market up higher and which can still push the market up higher. So what I'm now looking for a high probability trade to start coming into play is a break of the overall monthly open. Once that low goes, retest, then boom, we get into very, very high probability shorts with our stop loss here above the highs, targeting a new lower low. So yes, I'm expecting overall more downside for EURUSD. Can you already get into a potential setup? 100%. You could get into this trade on the overall supply retest. I would preferably put your stop loss above the highs. And why is that? Because if you look at the daily time frame, the daily is still bullish, right? We've had impulse in towards the upside, retracement phase, then again here the green zone, impulsing towards the upside, retracement phase. We've retraced and taken out the lowest liquidity low, so there's not really any, let's say, daily liquidity within that daily impulse up to target, meaning that the overall short that you're taking here is lower in overall probability. Okay, that's what you need to understand. So what could happen for longs, and the case to make for longs is once you break above the 3-monthly open, you break this high, then what happens is that you break the overall 4-hour/12-hour trend, right? We break the overall 4-hour market structure. Your overall impulse would then be this, and then we're going to be looking to trade the next impulse up higher on the overall retracement. But for now, I'm preferably looking for shorts, but I'm looking for shorts once the overall order flow shifts, which is a break of this low here. Once that low goes, then I get into the high probability short plays, and we can look to trade EURUSD further in towards the downside. Okay, and then for longs, I'm only going to be taking longs once we break above the 3-monthly open, retest, and then get into the next upside push. So that is that for EURUSD, expecting further downside, but only really expecting it once this overall little uptrend here shifts. Okay, then going into the dollar index, not gonna lie, the dollar index is uglier than something that is very, very ugly. It is overall not really doing anything that I like. Yeah, I mean, still we're bullish from this low in towards this high based on the 4-hour time frame. We've retraced and taken out equal lows here. So yeah, I mean, the dollar index has potential to push up higher. For me, the real confirmation will come once we break above the weekly monthly open, retest, and then boom, because currently the internal trend here is pushing the market down lower. So it could just head down lower and lower, take out this low, for example, and then, for example, head up higher. As long as this low is respected, we're still bullish on the dollar. But overall, we've traded the pullback phase towards the equal lows. Now, that has been targeted, so now we can shift the bias again to longs. But for longs, we now need the bullish confirmation that indeed liquidity has been taken. When can we expect liquidity to be taken? Once we see the overall internal order flow shift again. So waiting for that for full conviction. Then GBP USD, I'm looking for shorts. So still bearish on the pound. We've seen a massive retracement in towards the upside. Despite that, still looking for more shorts. Daily time frame is maybe even more clean than EURUSD because we do have time frame alignment here. So what do we have is on the daily time frame, impulse phasing towards the downside. Now, if we adjust the overall premium versus discount tool, you can see that we retraced exactly into the 0.5 fib. So what we're now looking for is the next downside push. Looking at the then 4-hour time frame, do we then have time frame alignment? No, we do not. Why? Because what do we have? We have a push up, pull back down, push up, pull back down, push up. And now what's happening? Well, after taking out liquidity here, we're going to expect an overall push down. but this is still demand that is in control. So the highest probability shorts, again, on GBP USD come when we have time frame alignment. When do we have time frame alignment? When we see the overall order flow shift. So what you want is this impulse down, then you want to trade this overall impulse in towards the downside. That is the highest probability play, because now you have the 4-hour internal trend is up, or the 4-hour trend is up, but the daily trend is down. And you want alignment. So we're now waiting for that alignment to happen. Can you already get into a short here? Yes, purely based on, let's say, this with stops above this high over here, because this is currently your overall strong high, weak low. So we expect downside to happen. But obviously, yeah, this is a pretty wide position. But perfectly fine in my opinion. I'm expecting for the downside to finally start coming into play here on GBP USD. Going onwards into AUD USD. AUD USD has continued to push up higher as we have been expecting, and nothing really has changed from there. I've been saying it pretty much for a long time now. Obviously, I've been talking about a very consolidated market, but yeah, a retest would mean potential for the longs. Simple as that. Not going to really dive into it more. USD USD has been heading up higher and higher, as I've been mentioning for quite some time. Bullish on this, and there is a different reason why these high beta currencies such as the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar are appreciating against the dollar, especially USD USD has been sold off for a very, very long period of time due to interest rate policy differences with the United States. But now that the economy is starting to lift up in New Zealand, and we are starting to see a hawkish central bank, the New Zealand dollar has been stronger, and therefore NU still has potential to move up higher. And all we are simply waiting for is for liquidity to get grabbed to then look for the next long opportunity. So looking for further longs on USD USD. If you're still in this from the lows, because obviously I called longs from this liquidity low here in towards the upside, congratulations. Yeah, great trade, guys. And still a good hold towards the 3-monthly open, and any liquidation is just another opportunity to go long. I'm very bullish on USD USD. Now looking at USD CAD, USD CAD in itself just continues to push a little bit down lower, rejected the over monthly open. This is very similar to EURUSD in the sense that just wait for the order flow to shift. Currently we have supply here in control. Now once again here we have supply in control. The only longs preferably you will be taking is once you maybe hit that 3-month level, break above the monthly again, and then look for a long. Other than that, just stay out for now. USD JPY continue to sell off towards the lowest liquidity low. As you can see, these are the kind of lows that you can limit because this is the very last and final liquidity low with stop loss underneath the low here. So that would be up around 76 pips now if you would just enter on the low. Again, not the highest probability play as we are expecting some more yen strength in the near future. Reason being, or reason why, is or can be found inside Discord. Now, if you're looking at USD JPY now, shorts not the best option because you break the low, retrace. Here you break the low, you retrace. So bearish momentum is starting to die down. If we break this high, this has the potential to head up higher again. A lot of descending highs here. So looking to grab some more liquidity in the near future, and as long as this low here is respected, obviously we're still bullish. So I mean short-term longs do make sense, or further longs make sense. USD CHF, what is that doing? That here on the 1-hour time frame, waiting for these descending highs to get taken out, and then for an overall continuation play. 1-hour time frame has been bearish, creating what? Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high, and we're now looking for the new lower high, looking for a liquidity swipe, 1-hour change of character, then a retest the monthly open to then go short on the supply zone that is then created by a swipe, meaning that that would be a strong supply zone. So that is a potential short that you can take. And then of course we have gold. Gold in itself still very bullish and looking for the longs. Not the cleanest price action, has been relatively consolidative this week, building up a lot of liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised in the near-term future if we do see a swipe of that, and then looking for longs. And furthermore, a position that I shared with you guys inside Discord is copper. Copper has been pushing up higher after a retest of the daily range here. We then saw again another drive up higher. Demand was then formed. Then you look at the 1-hour time frame What is then the impulse? The impulse is this in towards the highs. Within that impulse, we have liquidity, and then on that liquidity, you can pretty much start looking for longs in towards the upside. So some nice positions there, and shared an update on that inside Discord. So if you're not inside Discord, make sure to join, because otherwise you're missing out. And furthermore, I'll try and go live as well inside Discord today. A bit of a short update, but I think I've touched on everything. And if you have any questions, obviously let me know, and have an amazing weekend. Thanks, guys.